afternoon. Welcome to Unbothered and Well. This is our Talking Circle activation. Are you guys familiar with Unbothered? No? No? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little background. So, Unbothered is the sub-brand for Refinery 29. Specifically, we tell stories through the Black female lens. So, whether we're talking about health, traveling, relationships, we just deep dive in. Like, we like to call ourselves like the homegirl in your head. And specifically, we are moving more into a well-being and culture space. So, we're really doing a deeper dive on like what it looks like to talk about your health, how you feel. Even if that we had conversations around traveling and healing. We just had a conversation about sex and how you should be talking to your partner. Earlier, we had a conversation about fibroids. And we're going to also get into a gut health conversation. And my name is Sandy. I am the branded execution manager. I also help produce this. And I'm excited to have you guys here. And if you've been to Essence Fest, this is now the new wellness house. And we wanted to create a space where it was a lot more intimate, and we don't have any hosts. We call them keepers, and then we have also the people, our specialists that will be talking about gut health and all things. And we like to open the circle with just rubbing our hands. So if everyone could just rub their hands together really fast, and then I'm just gonna count to 3, and on 3, we are gonna just do one clap. 1, 2, 3. And now I am going to introduce our amazing host today. It is going to be Beverly, Beal, and Alexis Bennett.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite areas at the festival because we all are going to talk to each other. So I'm really, really looking forward to this conversation. So first off, I want to know, please raise your hand if you've ever dealt with any skin issues, whether it was acne, eczema, dullness, and no beauty products seem to help you resolve that.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Now, raise your hand if you ever felt like something was off in your body, whether it was digestion, bloating. Yes. Okay. So, you are in the right place because we are going to talk about gut health and how that impacts all of the above. And we have the amazing Beverly.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, I would love for you to just share a little bit more about your background.
Okay, so guys, I am an attorney by trade, so I feel compelled to say this disclaimer. I am not a doctor. Do not take this as health and advice, and don't leave here saying, well, Dr. Beverly said blah, blah, blah. So my journey with gut health, the reason why I'm so big on it and want to promote it as much as I can, I was diagnosed with Crohn's in 2013. If any of you are familiar, it's a deficiency in your digestive system, in your colon, in your small intestines and large intestines. And I really just don't want any of you to be focused on your gut health and have to learn the hard way. I had just graduated from law school. I was studying for the bar, and then boom, I got extremely sick. I was in the hospital almost 3 months. They didn't know where it came from. Crohn's disease is supposed to be something that people in their older age get, but I give you my opinion. I think the food in this country is so terrible that a lot of people are getting gut issues very early. There's children getting ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, at that young age. So that's when my journey began in 2013. I really did not know much about gut health, but now I feel like an expert, and honestly, if I didn't have so much student loans from law school, I would go to medical school so I can really learn. But yeah, that's kind of where I started, and I guarantee you, if there's something you need to know, more than likely, I'll have the information.
So I want to start off, I want to know, what is everyone feeling right now? So please shout at me.
Yes.
What do you feel like your body needs in this very moment? Sleep. Yeah, rest. Energy. I need more energy.
Vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, so we heard sleep, energy, water.
Yeah.
How can our gut health really help us with some of those issues, whether it's energy or whatever they yelled
So
at?
almost 70% of our immune system is like actually in our gut. So you are getting sick all the time. You're getting bloated all the time. You feel like you don't have energy or you're unable to sleep. A lot of it is focused on your gut. And I think a lot of time what happens is people say, oh, I just ate something bad. You know, it just gave me a little gas or something like that. But it actually could be something triggered by your microbiome. So it could be so many things. Like the sleep will help. And the thing with the gut issue, it is triggered by stress sometimes. And if you are stressed out, that is going to affect your gut. If you're not getting enough sleep, that will affect your gut. Now the thing with vegetables, I actually want to get on that. Vegetables isn't good for everybody, and I know a lot of people like don't want to hear that. They just assume vegetables are for everybody, but some vegetables are actually very hard to digest. So I say, you know, if you have the insurance or if you can make the investment, do a food sensitivity test because what works for everybody may not work for you. After I was diagnosed, I had a food diary for almost 6 years. And in that food diary, I was just constantly writing down what did work for me, what did not work for me. And even now, I wouldn't even say that I eat healthy in the terms of what people considers eating healthy. I eat what I know my body can handle. So it really is about like learning your body and not going by what everyone else is doing. You have to get the allergy test. You have to get the food sensitivity test. Get your hormone panels. Get your blood work because you really do have to make this your own thing. I could tell you, like healthcare, they're not trying to help us figure this out. And I think doctors hate lawyers anyway. But like, I'll go in there and say, listen, I'm not really here for your opinion. I just don't have your equipment at home, and that's why I'm here. I just want to, you know, use your X-ray. I just want to, you know, you to do the blood work. So yeah, you really have to take this into your own hands if you want to see that change in your life, skin, body, and everything else.
Can we first, maybe we need to take a step back too,
Okay.
because I think sometimes we say the word gut, but what
Yes.
exactly is our gut and
Yeah.
why is it so important? Like,
So now I don't want to get technical, but like the gut, it's made up of your small intestines, your large intestines, and your colon. So what happens is when you start having issues, you start getting ulcers in these places, and that basically just you know what an ulcer is. It's like an open sore. So imagine that anywhere in your body, it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard for food to process. It's going to be hard. I don't know if I can get gross with you guys, but listen, it's going to be hard to have bowel movements, you know, all the things. We can go there because I just talking to my mom, like, I will talk to complete strangers about their bowel movements. Like, I just had a conversation with a woman at the airport before we got here. Like, well, when was your last bowel movement? I just met this lady like 10 minutes ago. But we have to talk about it because it is important, and like all these things are connected. So that is kind of what your gut is made of all these little things, and there is so many different organisms in our gut. So we can get really technical. I won't bore you guys or gross you guys out anymore, but yeah, that's what the gut is pretty much made of.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I love to know if there's anybody in the room that has dealt with gut issues and they've made some maybe changes and they've seen how important the gut was for any issues that they were dealing with. So, okay, yeah.
With Miss Woman in the red shirt. Yes.
What I've done is I just got tired of it. After I eat, look like I'm 5 or 6 months pregnant. So I do take pro and prebiotics. I drink a lot of water now, and I'm actually going to the bathroom probably like 2 or 3 times a day.
And that's actually regular.
I'm like,
People
wow.
think that that's too much, but you should be having a bowel movement at least twice a day, and it could be even more. Yeah.
But I know when I'm not drinking enough water, I'm drier. So when I get the water and taking other things, it's an easier flow. The color and everything is
We get into it,
different.
y'all.
For real. And I'd be like, Lord, thank you just to be able to go to the bathroom. You know,
Yeah.
So that's some things that I've done to help.
And you've seen a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now, I look, I ate before I came. Usually I be looking like I'm about like this. Say, look at me.
Yeah.
So
Period.
Well, basically, I've been detoxing, taking like black seed oil and some other things to get rid of the parasites, and you'll see that come out in your stool
Yeah.
when you detox. So you get rid of those parasites, your bowels is a lot looser and it flushes you out. So
Yeah.
I do this like during the weekend I give myself a break, and then go back to it during the week.
Okay. Yes. I don't think any of y'all thought we were going to be talking about poop in here, did you? Yeah.
Yes.
Surprise.
People don't realize you get a lot of toxins built up in your system over the years. About 20 or 30 years ago, I did something called a whole body cleanse. I did it for 7 days. After I did that cleanse, I felt like I was walking on air, literally. Your whole body, you got to clean your system out. But the bottom line is toxins build up, and then people wonder why they're sick. They build up in your fat cells. They build up in your body over the years. Over the years. All these chemicals that they're putting in this food,
Yeah,
these
some foods that you've
all
eaten
this
years ago are
processed
still
food.
there.
So you gotta
Yeah.
try to like cut down on the processed foods. You gotta eat a lot of. I eat like a lot of fruits and vegetables. I try
Yeah.
because you gotta cut certain things out of your system. You have to.
Yes.
With that. Oh, you got it? Okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Over there.
So this is actually about our daughter. You know, when it comes to yourself, you sometimes you can put things off like, oh, I'll be all right. Once your child is like, okay, we gotta deal with this. So our daughter has eczema, and recently we've taken like deeper steps into gut health, and she's not happy with us right now because a lot of things that she likes she can't have. But yeah, so she potentially has a secondary infection because of the eczema. My wife has more language for that. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah. So we've noticed that when we've adjusted her diet, her skin has drastically changed and cleared up tremendously.
For sure.
Thank you for sharing that. I wanted to
Yes.
add, I've seen a huge change in my own skin just by changing what I was eating. My mom is here and she can attest to my face used to be just covered in bumps. And I work at Essence. I have access to all of the beauty products, all of the dermatologists, and nothing worked until I changed what I was eating. So I thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to add.
Seriously, like no filler, no product, no serum. It's not gonna fix whatever's going on if you have issues in the gut. So it's like discoloration, eczema, acne. You're looking tired, you're looking dull. I guarantee you, just make some changes in that diet. I like to do lemon water in the morning. It's the simple, boring things that actually work. La Mer, Chanel, Sunday Riley is not gonna do it if that gut isn't where it's supposed to be. So I really do. I think it changes your energy, your skin, everything. That it is really the missing regimen in your beauty routine. So I can't stress it enough.
I had a question as well. I know we're talking about like things that we're eating, but like drinking as well, like giving up alcohol or anything like that. I know you have like a non-alc brand with spirits and things like that. So
You guys, this is my assistant slash little cousin. So thank you for that shameless plug, little cousin. I'm so big on gut health. I did start a company around it. I launched Fine Line. It's a non-alcoholic spirits brand because I basically stopped drinking when I found out that I had Crohn's. It just didn't work out. Like the gut health and alcohol, I cannot tell you how much it destroys your body. I'm definitely not here to convert drinkers into non-drinkers, but that's what made me want to start Fine Line. I stopped drinking, and I feel like it's a little bit more accepted now, but like 10 years ago, when you go to a party and you tell people you're not drinking, they will avoid you like the plague. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to get to know you, and they're actually going to avoid you. But now I feel like it's a little bit different. People are choosing not to drink. And now, you have things like Fine Line where you can get that elevated mocktail and it not like look like a little kid's drink where they just swishing around juices. It actually is a non-alcoholic tequila and a non-alcoholic vodka, and I also infused it with prebiotics. So, yeah, that's my shameless plug, everybody. Drink fine line.
I have a question. Yes. Great. Thank you. I recognize that everyone is different in terms of what will work for their own bodies. Can you talk about what books or resources we can use in order to develop a regimen that's tailored to our specific situation?
That's actually a good question. Unfortunately, after I went to law school and started my own firm, I do not read for pleasure anymore. So I would love to tell you that there's a book I read or maybe a podcast I listen to. When it came to my gut health, I stopped all that. Like, I stopped listening to people. I stopped reading things, and I really just started looking at what was happening with myself. And it was just as simple as, like I said, going to get those panels done, going to get the food sensitivity test and things like that. Like, I can't stress enough, you really don't want to listen to anybody when it comes to you. And that's why I said, like, when I go to the doctor, I tell them, you really don't know what I'm going through. And then I stopped going to doctors who actually did not have Crohn's. So all my gastro doctors I talk to, they have Crohn's, and that just makes me trust them a little bit more. So I don't really have any resource. You have to become your own resource when it comes to this gut health. I mean, you can hear people out. I'm sure everyone, has their own experiences. Even listening to me, I want you to go out and do your research yourself and figure out what's going on with your body, because what works for me may not work for you. I could still eat Chick-fil-A. You maybe can't eat Chick-fil-A anymore, but that's because I know, my body, and you have to figure out what works for yours. So I'm so sorry I don't have any any resources. But yeah.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Hi. Can you just speak a little bit more about the panels? I know you said
Yeah.
a hormone panel, but are there some other ones you can take, tests you can take to check your gut health?
Yes. So what I did, and I know healthcare is a whole other issue in this country, so I can't speak generally and say that everyone has healthcare. But if you do have healthcare, and if you don't, I believe there are some programs. But if you have healthcare, go to your doctor and just tell them, I want a hormonal panel. I want blood work done. I want a food sensitivity test. And I also want a allergy test. My whole entire life, I love chicken and shrimp. And then I go to get my food sensitivity test. And it was those two that my stomach was actually the most sensitive to. So I would say get all those things done and go from there. And even, start the food diary. I know people love to manifest and journal. It's not really my thing, but like write everything down in your food journal and just kind of go from there. But stop ignoring your stomach. Like, if you go out, you have something to eat and it's off, make note of that and kind of go from there. But yeah, food panel, I'm sorry, blood work, hormonal panel, food sensitivity, and allergy test. I think those are great places to start. Yeah.
I love that. And then too, I think, one thing we didn't touch on that I think is so important, we're often told that things are hereditary.
Yes.
And so I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about really listening to your body, your body's needs, because every person is different. And sometimes what's hereditary is our eating habits are passed down from generation to generation. So.
Yeah. So they definitely told me it was hereditary, and to this day, I have not found a family member that had Crohn's. Some people are just more susceptible than others. I think my origin story with Crohn's was actually when I started getting my menstrual cycle. I had awful cramps, and I took a leave every month from I got my period when I was 15 up until I think I turned 23 or something when I got diagnosed. And I really think it was a leave that gave me ulcers in my colon, and that's what kind of triggered it. So I had to go through a whole thing of not trying to get rid of the cramps so it wouldn't trigger the Crohn's, and then kind of go from there. So the whole hereditary thing, I totally agree that it can be what your family's been eating, and then they kind of been passing that down to you. But yeah, I think my story was just having awful cramps. I think that's what caused it. And so I had to kind of go from there. I got on birth control, so I didn't get the cramps. So the cramps didn't trigger the Crohn's, and then I had to find out what medication worked for the Crohn's. And it's a cycle, but I just say start the journey now, so you can really figure it out. Because now I'm 1,000%. I mean, I can toot my own horn. I think I have pretty good skin. I feel good. I have the energy. So I can't talk about gut health enough and how liberating it is to like actually get it under control. That grogginess you feel, that like low energy. I even think it's like a confidence booster, honestly. Like knowing you had a bowel movement before you're about to go out, you should be confident. Like you should be ready to take over wherever you're about to go. So yeah, can't stress it enough.
Amazing. I love you said start the journey now, because it
Yes.
is a journey. It's daily decisions. It's not just a one and done thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm definitely going to take everything you said and think about it every day as I'm on my journey too.
Yes.
So Sandy, do you want to close us? Do the
Yes.
ritual?
This was such an insightful conversation. So thank you guys. And we just want to close the circle the same way we opened it. So we're just going to rub our hands together really fast. And on the count of 3, we're just going to do one big clap. 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Alexis.